Starting lineup: Yorick, Warwick, Orianna, Jinx, Nami, up against Urgot, Kane, Vigar, Twitch, Mel. Rating of the picks for a lower ranked game: Yorick as a top, 10. Warwick in the jungle, 8. Orianna as a mid, 6. Nami in support, 6. Urgot as a top, 9. Kane in the jungle, 5. Vigar as a mid, 7. Twitch as a shooter, 7. Mel in support, 3. You're in this game. Prestige, Space Groove, Nami. You got this German girl showing it off, letting it hang. We're gonna have this interesting dynamic here between me and this devotee. And this game not for the faint of heart, because you can get smashed up good in League. It's not bad when you're the one doing the smashing. You need so much experience to get good. But what kind of experience will we see? And does my rating system make any sense? Does it hold up? This here a case study. Moving on. Taking it from the top, going for another jungle invade, this one properly executed. In the presence of such an early game, Calamity as Warwick, absolutely crucial for this success. You have me coming in with just my basic attack at this point without enhancements. And there's just so much frailty in this Mel, Vigar, and Twitch early game. Twitch up there with the top 3 weakest champions early game, and if you essentially breathe on him, he will fall over and die. This early action is going to dramatically affect the morale on the enemy team, although many of them really don't talk about it in any way. This Vigar is going to take up a bit of a facepalm attitude for the rest of the game. You're going to in many ways close yourself off and not collaborate because you got sour. You have Warwick known more than anybody for his sustain in fights, that passive eternal hunger, lifesteal from all damage dealt. He heals himself up with his attacks. You have this lifesteal being amplified when you're attacking low health targets, so good on these targets a few minutes in. Jaws, his first spell, he leaps forward and bites enemies, dealing damage and healing himself. When Warwick is near low health enemies, the bite has extended range, making him a great finisher and solving a lot of his chase down problems. This Kane calling this Vigar out ad nauseum, and this will get really disruptive. Got some squaring off in the top lane with Urgot. Yorick, Urgot can both go far. Such excellent picks. And it's exciting to think about how, to a large degree, nothing but your own skills with the controls are holding you back on champs like that. Later on, we're gonna have the jungler making good on the promise of the first spell from Warwick, and that extra reach helps you look like a great finisher. You have this red team player getting in trouble with Disdain, Urgot's third spell. He charges forward, knocking back enemies and stunning them if they hit a wall. Masterful tool for engaging and disrupting, and just not able to control your own power here. Like so many league champions, Urgot, in his strategical performance, seems to take a lot from his lore. Urgot is a champ who embodies the concepts of freedom, chaos, and rebellion, particularly when it comes to societal structures, boundaries, and the idea of being confined. In his background, once a powerful and respected general in the Noxian army, backstabbing his own men led to his transformation. Today's Urgot as an abomination driven by the desire for retribution. Urgot has no patience for the established structures of power. We see that in so many things. If you play Jinx, you get a lot of chaos. If you play Talon, you get a lot of antisocial. And similarly, if you're playing Urgot, his sense of freedom is based on the destruction of those systems that constrain him or limit his pursuit of dominance. His very playstyle illustrates that he cannot stop and that he constantly, quite literally, bumps into things. And this is how you get shot by the turret. Constantly reining that in is the essence of Urgot play, if you're ever gonna be successful at it. Since I talk, and this is not a let's play, there's a lot of emphasis on my views on things. For about 30 minutes in every single episode, I will spout my ideas about all sorts of things without the least bit of apology. If anybody has ever watched my content, it will become obvious quite quickly that in everything I draw a distinction between the way that women think and the way that men think. This is not per se done to offend people, but if I can offend someone in the process, all the better. And we're going to get an excellent piece of how women think. Here we have Altersheim Ari, so that is 1000% a German woman. And if you've ever played League in the bottom lane, you know that we basically barely ever help with the jungle objectives. The only ones who do even worse are the mid lane players who never help with anything. So of course, you can already figure out what happened here. This Mel is gonna be at about 10% health. This Dutch boy jungler is not even asking for assistance or anything. He's completely keeping his mouth shut. But of course, we're going to give him some assistance because we are women and we think in terms of social excuses instead of single-mindedness in terms of hunting the enemy down. Now, what man would ever leave a 10% health foe alone to go off somewhere so that his ally can get double teamed? I've never seen that in my life. But that is what's going to happen here, and I cannot take it from a moral level that we're going to have to get screwed on this Mel rejuvenating at the base and undoing all of the poking that I've been doing. So I'm going to go out there by myself and die. Because Altersheim Ari here needed to do the 50 damage that Nami, the mermaid, can deal to a Drake. And that is display entirely unnecessary. But what the heck. We have some significant dysfunctionality in this red group with this jungler. And minute 7 to minute 8 summarizes everything about his behavior from the start to the finish. We go in order. They have vision with the grubs, they have vision with the grubs. I need assistance with the grubs, I need assistance with the grubs. Vigar, where are you? WTF, WTF. Oh no, now, Vigar, it's time to retreat, it's time to retreat, WTF, don't come over here. Subsequently, let's dive into this battle, let's engage. Oh no, flash out, flash out. It is a godly example of over-intellectualizing your play. You have a fiendishly devilish scheme in mind to ambush everyone. Oh no, don't start the ambush because you don't have the firepower. You've seen your opportunity, now jump on them, now pounce. Oh no, gotta flash out, gotta flash out. We don't have the firepower. It's very much in accordance with the general nature of people who pick Kayn. There is no actual battle plan or strat. You saw some cultural reference of how people come together in this way, and this is just how you gang up on League players, yo. This is just how you own them, yo. And so now you're going to act on that even though there is no substance there. It's very much like Kayn itself. There is no substance there. It's arguably the best looking champ in the game, and he's an athletic Grim Reaper, and he looks like a Seoul model, but there is no substance there. We have this Urgot not building well, and you end up having to flash out. At 9 minutes and 30 seconds in, we have this German girl doing the bubble with her ult, and we're going to end up mixing the two ults, and I end up getting the kill. This Yorick player, a spectacular figure, and any time that anything at all goes on in the bottom lane, he's going to start hysterically pressing WTF. Make me want to reduce the cooldown on that ult and just use it again. You get this ill-calculated brawl in the upper jungle adjacent to the bottom lane, and quite a delicious example of leading with a tank. This type of game is truly where a character like Warwick does not have a downside. Seemingly this Nami trying to kill steal with the ult. Not sure why per se you want to start kill stealing on Nami. Pick one or the other, it can't really be both. If I had to go over the team synergy of the blue team, I would have to say an A. It's close, a narrow escape from B rank. But when we have to look at the picks alone, at this difficulty level, combining that Yorick with that Warwick is admittedly a nearly perfect front line. I personally have my qualms about the style of mixing these two, especially in this position, but I cannot really argue with the champs individually as just being nearly perfect solutions for challenges of this level and skirmishes at this level. If we were to look at Team Red overall synergy, we would have to say AC. You already have inherent problems in that Kayn cannot be any kind of front line, so you're going to run very thin when it comes to armor and tankiness. But then you add in Twitch, which is an flat-out poor pick on this difficulty level for these kinds of players, because Twitch is unbelievably difficult. and you're most likely not going to pull that off. So that is already a poor foundation, and what tips it over from a low B into a C is you slap on this Mel, which just takes any kind of protection away from the shooter and does not at all fit in that role. Considering the individual players, how they interacted with each other, how they came across as individuals. On player behavior, we would have to say, this Yorick AC, you got all the wrong items. Even in the snippets that we've shown in the 5 plays of the game, it is clearly visible that you try to create disturbances with your pings intentionally. You had a 1v9 mentality and you wanted to get into the head of your teammates to intimidate them. If we look at this Dutch boy playing Warwick, we would have to say an A. Your items were not ideal. Nevertheless, you unintentionally tanked for us and provided a beautiful shield. You had very high map awareness, and there was a lot of team player in you. Considering this Griffin Slain Oriana player, we would have to say a B. The fact that the support had to come over to mess around with the Drake because you couldn't be bothered with anything outside of your lane probably reflected negatively on me. This Nami, a B, being consistently rather generous here on people who screw me over. Just like in the other episode, you were prepared to stick around. You actively participated. That being said, it's difficult to imagine a less efficient, pure support. This Urgot, AB, you held the line, you tried a couple of things. Black Cleaver is a solid item. This Kane, a C, you went 0-3. You lured people into their death by pinging false commands at them. You got a bunch of extra people killed for no reason. You're a team wrecker. You went Eclipse, good luck with that. This Vigar, AB, you tried to help some of your teammates out by giving them an assist and a setup. You went 0-4. You are trying to come off as a Smurf. You call yourself only Smurfs. You're going 0-4 against the beginner team, and you purchased a bunch of expensive cosmetics. In what way are you a Smurf? This Twitch, you were set up in an unfair situation. You got robbed of any kind of support. You never complained. You kept soldiering on. You're a winning player. This Twitch, AB. This Mel, AB. Very close to a C, because we have to take into account as a part of your behavior that you screwed your teammate over with your pick. But I will say, this person played very hard with what they had. They never sat still for a single moment and they didn't complain. In this game you had 4 players on Team Blue playing their role as intended, which is very rare. We rolled the dice on some of these jungle invasions and early game ambushes. And it's nice to see what it can look like when you hit jackpot. This game full of excellent timing, but none of it would have really been possible without Kane, Twitch, and Mel in this game. If you had replaced Kane, Twitch, and Mel with Sion, Tristana, and Leona, It would have never been possible to beat you in this manner. It would have never been possible to get this abusive with this team. Which you play League at this level, you do know half of the game is self-inflicted. The way you suffer depends on how you want to suffer. If you want to take crazy risks on super difficult characters, and you want to go hyper squishy, you should either be the best of the best, or get ready for misery. Taking a look at the scoreboard here, Yorick has no attack speed qualities, this is too expensive. Urgot relies on tackling enemies and going deep in. He's not an in and out champ. He's not a fire your stun gun and then run back out type of shooter. We didn't see Eclipse trigger a single time in this game. What could you do on Kayn to trigger Eclipse? Let me think. You could do his sight, that will count for one hit. If you then do his auto attack, that will not count for a second one. So you could do his sight and then his little slow thing, that is his second spell. You will never be able to land that within 2 seconds. So in other words, there is not a single thing that could trigger the passive of Eclipse on Kayn. It is technically impossible to trigger it. When you're getting beat up badly, what you should do is you should buy more health. I know that this is controversial, but it is actually possible for mages to work with items that are not pure mage items. It's not because somebody is not a tank that they wouldn't be able to purchase a tank item. When we look at this Velgar, we see that he got taken down here in the beginning of the game. He ended up getting killed here by me, here by Oriana, and near the end, he came back over here. He tried to teleport away, but I got him with the ultimate. After which, he ended up giving up. Moving on.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
I'm trying to care. I just can't.
30 seconds until minions spawn. Minions have spawned.
think once about blowing stuff up. I'm thinking. How do people do this?
An enemy has been slain.
If I'm listening. Such a loser. Always ready to die. You're welcome.
Killing spree. Shut down.
Hold on. I'm about to say something really cool. You think I'm crazy? You should see my sister. I really need a new gun. But don't tell my other guns. Whatever, let's just start shooting. Let's just behave.
Here's something that won't wash off.
Smile! Let them play. jinx. All part of the plan I just made up. I'm wearing lots of belts. Who needs reasons?
You have slain an enemy. An enemy has been slain. Shut down.
It's me!
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Ah, come on. What's the worst that could happen? I don't even think once about that.
An enemy has been slain. Turret plating will soon fall.
If I'm listening. I'm not. Always ready to cry. Hold up. I'm about to say something.
Here's something that won't wash off.
You think I'm crazy? You should see my sister. I really need a new gun.